When a reigning American League champion drops an 11-10 spring training shootout and then immediately leans harder into prospect development, it tells you everything you need to know. Just 3 months after falling in a dramatic Game 7 of the World Series to the Dodgers, the Toronto Blue Jays arrived in Fort Myers and made one thing clear: their championship window isn't shrinking, it's widening. What followed that final out offered a masterclass in how true contenders operate. Hello Jays Nation, and welcome to Jays Quick News, your home for everything Toronto Blue Jays. Spring training delivered an 11-10 rollercoaster against Boston, and while the result goes down as a loss, the decisions that came right after show an organization that absorbed the right lessons from pushing the Dodgers to the brink last October. If you want to understand why manager John Schneider and coach of the year David Popkins treat February as a laboratory rather than a scoreboard battle, make sure you're subscribed, because this is about how championship DNA is built. The game itself was absolute mayhem. Sunday afternoon in Fort Myers turned into a slugfest as Toronto fell 11-10 to the Red Sox in their second Grapefruit League outing. The Blue Jays jumped on Boston immediately, scoring 4 runs in the opening frame behind run-producing hits from designated hitter Eloy Jimenez, second baseman Leo Jimenez, and elite prospect Arjun Nimala, the organization's third-ranked prospect who won't even turn 20 until after the season begins. The offense stayed aggressive in the 6th inning when Jimenez launched a solo homer and shortstop Josh Kasevich followed with a 2-run blast to stretch the lead to 7-4. This is where spring training shows its real value. Starter Fernando Perez, a 22-year-old right-hander from Nicaragua ranked 17th in the system, managed only 2 outs while allowing 4 runs. Veteran reliever Yoriel Rodriguez had an even tougher day, surrendering 6 runs while recording just 2/3 of an inning. Boston took full advantage of Toronto's depth arms, racking up 15 hits from 11 different players. Braden Ward, Ceddanne Rafaela, and Nate Eaton each drove in 2 runs as the Red Sox surged ahead 11-7. Yet even then, the Blue Jays refused to fold. In the 9th inning, 2022 second-round pick Tucker Tomon ripped an RBI double, Jorix Paniango followed with another, and Robert Brooks added an RBI single to bring the tying run to the plate before reliever Jay Almonte closed the door by striking out Sean Keyes. What truly separates elite organizations from the rest didn't happen between the foul lines. The box score shows a loss, but the real story unfolded moments later through deliberate, calculated roster decisions. Toronto reassigned 8 prospects to minor league camp, not as a reaction, but as part of a clearly defined development strategy. This is the same philosophy that fast-tracked Trey Yesavage from Single-A to dominating the World Series in just 8 months under this coaching group. Tucker Tomon leads this development class. After a difficult start to his pro career that featured strikeout rates north of 30%, Tomon reinvented himself in the second half of 2025. Posting a .286, .372, .422 line with 5 homers over his final 215 plate appearances. His clutch 9th inning double wasn't a moral victory, it was proof that Toronto's development system works. Nick Goodwin brings legitimate power after hitting 12 home runs last season. Eddie Micheli Jr. crushed 14 long balls for High A Vancouver, second in the organization only to Yohendry Paniango. Carter Cunningham, Dero Harrison, Connor Larkin, and speedster Ismael Munguia round out a group rich in upside and fundamentals. The rough outing from Fernando Perez is exactly the kind of detail casual fans misread. Across 262.2 minor league innings, Perez owns a 3.60 ERA with 267 strikeouts against just 60 walks, outstanding control for a pitcher his age. One shaky February appearance doesn't change his projection as a future rotation piece. The same applies to Yoriel Rodriguez, who posted a 3.08 ERA over 73 innings in high-leverage work last season before being removed from the 40-man roster purely for roster flexibility as Toronto pursued major additions like Dylan Cease. Longtime Blue Jays fans remember how the 2015 to 2016 era was built. That run wasn't accidental. It came from patient prospect development, precise timing, and trusting organizational depth over short-term optics. Toronto clearly studied recent contenders as well. The Rays doubled down on development after losing the 2020 World Series and stayed competitive. The Nationals rushed their pipeline after winning in 2019 and collapsed shortly after. The Blue Jays chose the sustainable path. John Schneider summed it up perfectly this spring when he told reporters, "We're not defending anything. We're chasing that feeling again." That mindset explains everything. Monday's matchup against the Mets in Dunedin will bring more experimentation, more evaluation, and more emphasis on process over results as David Popkin's offensive philosophy continues to take shape and new additions like Kazuma Okamoto adjust to North American pitching. March 27th, opening day against Oakland, is the only deadline that truly matters. The timing is lining up beautifully. Tomon turns 23 in November. If his upward trend continues through High A and Double A, he could factor into a 2027 postseason push alongside talents like Nimmola, Perez, and Gage Stanifer. Perez's mid-90s fastball and wipeout slider still flash elite potential. Rodriguez's electric stuff simply needs refinement, which is exactly what February is for. Most importantly, the offense on display showed just how deep this roster runs. Building a 7-4 lead with contributions from young players while stars like Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and newly signed Kazuma Okamoto focus on timing is a luxury few teams possess. That's organizational strength, not spring training noise. The bottom line is simple. The Blue Jays once again showed why true contenders treat spring training differently from rebuilding clubs. They value long-term dominance over empty exhibition wins. Tucker Tomon's late double symbolized far more than a comeback attempt. It reinforced that Toronto's pipeline continues to produce, even as the front office aggressively upgrades the major league roster. So Jays Nation, what would you rather have, February victories that fade by summer, or the depth that wins in October? This team has made its choice. They aren't defending a pennant. They're hunting a World Series. Drop your thoughts below, and if you share that belief, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for Jay's quick news. From Game 7 heartbreak to dynasty ambition, we're watching championship foundations being laid in real time.